Hi, welcome to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I wanted to talk about my January TBR. My shelves behind me are really crazy messy right now. I'm trying to find some room for some books that I hauled recently, and then I have a stack of books that I haven't even done a haul video yet that are like Christmas books. And yeah, so between my last haul and then my haul I haven't filmed yet, I'm still trying to find room on my shelves for stuff. So it's like really messy. So hopefully that's not super distracting. Anyways, diving into my TBR, there are less books on this TBR than I sometimes put on my TBR. But one of my goals for this year is to read less because I've been really busy, and so I want to be okay with reading less and not set unrealistic goals for myself that stress me out. In addition, one of the books on this TBR is gigantic, and that is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. This is not one that I'm intending to read only in January. My plan is to stretch this out over January and February, potentially into March, but I really want to finish it by the end of February. We'll see how I do with that, but I'm trying to be more disciplined in the TBRs I pick so that way I can make that more achievable. War and Peace is like my big giant tome that I really want to finish. This year is on my classics TBR. The past few years I have been picking like a gigantic, very intimidating to me classic that I really want to finish, and it's like my most challenging book. And actually last year's and then this year's also are books that I had previously DNF'd. So I'm really hoping that I can get through it this time. I feel like I should be able to, because the last time I tried to read this, my reading tastes were a little bit different. I don't think I was as disciplined as a reader. It was like a full-on mood reader, and so if I wasn't feeling it, I was just done. So I think that was part of it, but also I am buddy reading this with a couple of people. Stephanie from Miss Richards Reads, Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, Gloria Thompson, and then my friend Jessica, who has an awesome bookstagram account. So I'm hoping that having a group of ladies who are reading this at the same time as me is motivating to help me actually meet my own personal goals for finishing it. We may all be kind of reading it at our own pace, but also have people to talk to about it. So that's really helpful as well. This particular edition is a little over 1,300 pages. So my goal is to read between like 150 and 200 pages a week potentially. These are divided up into books, and then the books have chapters. So my goal is to read around 2 books a week, and then if I can follow through with that consistently, I should finish this by the end of February. I have a couple of challenges that I am working through this year that are annual challenges. Those being the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge that Chantel Reads All Day puts on every year, and then the Buzzwordathon that Books and Lala puts on every year. My goal with doing these 2 challenges is actually to help reduce my physical TBR. So a lot of the books that I'm trying to choose for these challenges are from my Read or Rid project. I'll link that video in case you didn't watch it. But in it, I list 25 books. I said it was 24 in the video, but when I went back and counted, when I put it in my reading journal, it's actually 25. So apparently I can't count. But anyways, it's 25 books that I need to read. Can you hear my cats? I don't know what in the world they're doing. Being crazy, I guess. Anyways, I need to read them by the end of the year, or I'm just gonna get rid of them. And I am gonna allow myself to DNF if I'm like really hating them. That's fine, it's okay. But my goal is to actually open all 25 of these books and give them a try, like a good solid try. So the prompt for Buzzwordathon for January is the 5 W's, so who, what, when, where, why, or how. So the title needs to include one of those words. So for that prompt, I chose Where the Forest Meets the Stars. I love the cover of this book. I think it's so pretty. And it was actually the cover that drew me to this book. I got it for only 10 cents at a library book sale, so it really didn't feel like a bad idea to pick it up, but I really am not sure if I'm gonna like it or not. It is, I think, a contemporary with some potentially magical realism in it. I'm not really sure. I think it's about a woman who she finds this little girl and like no one knows where she comes from, and so it might have some magical elements to that part of the story. But I think it deals a lot with grief and found family and stuff like that. I don't know. Contemporary is not always a genre that I enjoy, so we'll see. But this was the only book I had in my entire house that I hadn't previously read that had one of those words in the title. And then for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, I am not choosing something off my Reader Read project because I really want to read this book and I feel like I need something lighter this month. Between War and Peace and the contemporary I just mentioned, I think those will both be heavier, and another book that I'm reading that I'll get to in a second as well. So this one is more fluffy and lighthearted, but the prompt is a quiet word. And I had nothing that was even remotely like that at least that I wanted to read, but I don't think I even saw anything that even fit otherwise. So we're talking words like silence or hush or even the word itself, quiet, and I couldn't find anything. So I really took this prompt very liberally and just decided that this fits. And I'm reading The Moon by Night by Madeline L'Engle. I just feel like the moon by night sounds quiet and peaceful. So that's why I chose this one. This cover is horrendous, let me just tell you. I think it's like from like the 60s or something. I don't know, but it looks pretty bad. But this is actually book 2 in, I don't know what this series is called. It's like the Austen family series or something like that. I don't know, but the first book was Meet the Austens, and I absolutely loved that. It's just like the story of a family, and it's really sweet. This is book 2 in the series, but the main protagonist is a little older, and based on the cover, it looks a little angsty, so we'll see if I like it as much, but I really do want to read this one because I loved Meet the Austens so much. So there is another read-along that I am participating. Actually, there's 2 more read-alongs that I'm participating in January. One of which is Flannery O'January, which is hosted by Victoria from A Musical Bookworm, Noah from Everyone Who Reads It Must Converse, and Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space. And basically, they are hosting a read-along of Flannery O'Connor's works. So they all have different challenges. So Christy is reading Flannery O'Connor's letters. Noah is reading one of Flannery O'Connor's novels. I believe it's The Violent Bear It Away. And then Victoria is reading some of Flannery O'Connor's short stories. So she's reading from the short story collection, A Good Man Is Hard to Find. The short story collection that I have is Everything That Rises Must Converge. So I'm actually going to be reading short stories out of this collection. I don't know how much it will overlap with the other collection. I'm guessing not a lot, but I already have this collection, so this is the one that I'm going for. I'm gonna try and see if I can read all of the short stories in here. I did in October, I think, read, or maybe it was November, read Everything That Rises Must Converge, which is the title story in here. But there are 8 other short stories in here as well. So I may not get to all 8 of them, and that's okay. I just want to read some Flannery O'Connor. I really loved Everything That Rises Must Converge. It's really interesting. I've really never quite read anything like it, and it wasn't exactly what I expected, but it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. So I want to read some more of her short stories. I want to read more short stories this year in general, but this will be the collection that I'm picking up in January. And then the last read along that I am participating in is Emily of Deep Valley. This is a book that Kate Howe is doing for her Kindred Spirits book club, which is really fun. So she's gonna choose, I don't know if she's choosing a book a month or every other month. I'm not really sure yet. I'm not sure if I will participate every month. But I've had this book on my shelves for a while, and she was hosting a read along of this, and then there's going to be a Zoom chat, which will be really, really fun. And again, this is another lighter, I think, feel-good read, so I'm looking forward to reading it. It's by Maud Hart Lovelace, who also wrote the whole Betsy Tacy series, which I have not read all of. I think I've read the first like 2 books in the Betsy Tacy series to my daughter when she was younger, and then I didn't continue, but my daughter continued like a couple past that. I actually really don't know what this is about at all. I just know it's about a girl named Emily, and the place she lives is Deep Valley, and that's all I know. But it looks like really sweet and heartwarming, and it seems kind of reminiscent of like L.M. Montgomery to me, although maybe that's just because L.M. Montgomery's middle name is Maud and this person's name is Maud. I don't really know if there's really any correlation in time periods or geographical locations or even like the overall feel. I'm not really sure, but I wanted to give this one a try. And then last is a book that I actually started in 2021, but I didn't finish, and it's a spiritual nonfiction, The Cost of Discipleship by Dietrich Bonhoeffer. So I am this far in it already, and I was really, really enjoying it. But then Krista from Books and Gems hosted a read-along of Mere Christianity, and I had wanted to read that for forever. So I decided to jump onto Mere Christianity, and I ditched Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Sorry. But I really want to get to it now. I try to have a spiritual nonfiction book going most of the time, just because I find it very enriching to my spiritual life. Well, I used to try to read like one a month, and I'm definitely not going to pressure myself to do that in 2022. I'm okay with spreading it out over multiple months if it's longer or if I just don't have as much time. So, I mean, we'll see whether or not I finish this in January. I feel like I have a little head start, so that should help me out a little bit. But this book was really incredible, so I'm looking forward to picking it back up. So here is my TBR for January, some of which will definitely carry into February, some of which might carry over into February. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to reading some of these books, and then some I'm not as sure about. And really, that's just where the forest meets the stars. I'm not really sure. If you have read that, I would love to hear what your thoughts were in the comments below, because that's one I don't really know even what I should expect going in. I would also love to hear from you as to what your January reading plans are. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me. And I will see you again next time.